Hey, it ain't so. Playboy shocked the media world this week when it announced it will no longer publish nude pictures. Excuse me, while it's hard to imagine Playboy without the Playmates, the magazine conceded that it had to make a change. When Hugh Hefner launched Playboy in 1953, the idea was revolutionary. A mainstream magazine celebrating sex. Hefner insisted it was a high-minded effort and backed that up with great writing from the likes of Norman Mailer, John Updike, and Margaret Atwood. But let's face it, Playboy was about the Playmates and has struggled mightily in the era of ubiquitous online porn. So Playboy says it's dropping the nudity, losing the illicit label, and allowing it to compete with other lad magazines like Maxim, FHM, and Men's Health. But even if it's only PG-13, you might still have to joke you read Playboy only for the articles. All right, I'm going to go way out on a limb here and say I think this is a big mistake. You know, not everybody runs to the internet to look at pornography. And the magazine has kind of a harmless, lurid aspect to it. I mean, I think it's fine. And I can't imagine that anybody is going to go grab Playboy magazine to read. They don't have the kind of writers that Vanity Fair has. I mean, Men's Health. I mean, who reads that anyway? It's like, this is not. I realize their circulation has gone way down. It used to be millions. It's like down to 800,000 or
so
something.
So you're going to cancel the
I'm
subscription we got here at GBH to Playboy?
I have my home edition too. I'm just going to say this magazine's not going to last a year.
Who knows what the business travelers who go through America's airports are going to do now when they can't find this magazine. I think that this is something the writing's been on the wall for a very long time now. They, like a lot of other magazines, have to sort of shift themselves into the general interest category to try and get as many readers as possible. They already made this change on their website a number of years ago, and they decided, you know what, let's take some of this nudity away so we can try to get a little bit bigger of an audience for the things that we're writing, because there's no way people are going to read this at work. And it did. Really? Their audience picked up. I think overall the thing that they are still going to be able to sell, no matter if things are airbrushed or not in the magazine, is that Playboy has always been about the image, this idea of being a gentleman and a man or whatever. And that's what they're still going to be able to sell, no matter if someone's naked or not.
A career highlight for me was last year I got quoted in Playboy.
Really?
And all I can say is, thank God it happened.
I missed that article.
This change. I think that this is just a sign of the incredible change we've seen in the culture in the last generation. I tell my students that the most important story of the 1976 presidential campaign was a Playboy interview with Jimmy Carter. And they can't believe it. They're shocked.
Lust in my heart.
Lust in my heart. They are shocked that a major presidential candidate would have given an interview to what is today seen as, on the one hand...
Oh, wait a minute. Didn't that interview appear on 60 Minutes?
No, it was in Playboy.
In Playboy?
It was in Playboy. On the one hand, it's a pornographic magazine. On the other hand, it is so mild compared to what's on the internet that they just find themselves in this in-between position. I don't know that this will work, but I don't think it will work any worse than what they've been doing.
Between your comments, Dan, and your comments, Justin, I think there's a big question here about whether the ideal of masculinity and male behavior that Playboy has sort of epitomized over the years is still tenable.
Right.
It's being a macho guy who has a lot of nice stuff and who consorts with sexually available young women who seek no long-term legal or emotional attachment.
Write the novel. Write the novel.
I just don't know if that resonates today the same way that it did when Playboy was founded. I mean, the cultural, think of what's going on college campuses today, and the attentiveness to sexual assault, the attentiveness to speech that might make people feel unsafe or vulnerable. it's a very different ethos today, very different zeitgeist than when Playboy was created and in the first few decades of Playboy. And I just don't know if it can resonate the way it used to, whether there's nude pictures or not.
Adam, are you saying that bros no longer want to be distinguished gentlemen?
That's a great
America's
synopsis
bros
of
would
my
like,
window.
would like to have a word with you, I think.
But it still doesn't explain why on the internet the pornography is through the roof.
$30 billion
yeah. So it's
industry.
interesting to me that the magazine, when it took the nudity off of its online presence, the subscriptions went up dramatically, not just a little bit, dramatically. But yet there is all this other audience for much harder core stuff. So if we go back to what Justin said about if they're trying to compete in the general interest space with a sort of a little nod toward the bros, as you say, I don't know. That's a tough space to try to be successful in. We'll see.
We're going to be giving them a eulogy a year from now.